Sri Lanka will call Platinum 1 a landmark. Only 70 will call it home. Because the address and where you live matters. Platinum 1, the finest address in Colombo.
You're watching the news at 9. Up next is Action TV.
The Chief Minister of the North Central Province put a stop to the sale of lottery tickets through students undertaken by the North Central Province Ministry of Education on the 3rd of November with 8 days to go for the draw. On the 26th of October, the official who was functioning as the acting secretary to the Provincial Ministry of Education clarified the reason for undertaking such a lottery to Action TV.
Many children suffer from poverty. They ask our assistance to send them to school and to provide scholarships. There are children who do sports at national level and they are required to travel overseas sometimes for tournaments. Assistance is sought from the ministry for these purposes too. These are poor children. There is no other way to help these children.
The fact that students were being made to sell lottery tickets to raise funds for education and related activities in the province makes it evident that the North Central Provincial Council is suffering from a shortage of funds. However, about 3 months prior to the lottery program, public funds were being allocated for a visit abroad to Thailand and South Korea to be undertaken by 45 provincial councillors and senior public officials in the province. The Chief Secretary of the province acted as the chairman of the committee responsible for purchasing the air tickets. An individual who had retired from the public service by this time was also included in the committee. This official, who was instrumental in initiating the controversial lottery which was put a stop to by the Chief Minister, was also among the members of the committee. This official functioned as the primary organizer of this overseas trip while he was the secretary of the Provincial Council. The travel agency selected by the committee, headed by the Chief Secretary of the province, to purchase the air tickets incidentally belongs to an individual who served as a councillor on the previous Provincial Council. On the 28th of June, the Chief Secretariat paid out a cheque of 12.1 million rupees to the Provincial Council Secretariat and instructed them that a 60% advance was to be paid to the travel agent for the air tickets. On the 28th of June, the Provincial Council Secretariat paid a sum of 7,921,800 rupees to the travel agency as an advance for the air tickets. On the 12th of July, the Presidential Secretariat informed the Secretary to the Governor of the North Central Province that approval had not been granted for this overseas trip. This was informed to the Secretary to the Governor in response to a letter he addressed to the Presidential Secretariat on the 2nd of July. This shows that the Provincial Council Secretariat has paid out an amount close to 8 million rupees to the travel agency as an advance for air tickets prior to obtaining approval for the overseas trip from the Presidential Secretariat. A situation has arisen now, whereas per the conditions agreed upon by the committee headed by the Chief Secretary of the province and the travel agency, the 8 million rupees paid as an advance will not be reimbursed. Is the Chief Secretary of the province vested with the power to put up public funds as collateral and reach agreements with private companies? Who gave the Provincial Council Secretary the power to pay out an advance that would not be reimbursed prior to obtaining approval from the only authority that can grant approval? Secretary to the President, this is over to you.